Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today I thought I would do some videos talking about my top 5 favorite things. First one I'm going to do is my top 5 favorite albums, and let's get started. I want to mention, these are the top 5 right here, obviously. Ones that didn't make the list but were very close were Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, Physical Graffiti by Led Zeppelin, and The Wall by Pink Floyd as well. So yeah, let's get into it. First thing you'll probably notice, if you're a classic rock fan, you know what all these albums are. I don't have to tell you the names. But you'll notice there's 2 Zeppelin albums, there's 2 Beatle albums, and Fleetwood Mac. That's because they're my 3 top favorite bands of all time. They've all had an impact on me, and yeah, I'm just a huge classic rock fan. I love all genres, but top 5, it wasn't hard to choose what my top 5 favorite were. It was just kind of hard to rank them, you know what I mean? My number 1, though, it's always been my number 1, but, you know, the other 4 were kind of hard to place, because they're so close in terms of quality. Anyways, so I'm going to start off. Number 5 is Led Zeppelin's 4th album, the Untitled 4th album. This album introduced the 4 symbols and this cool picture, which I actually made a drawing of. And let's just say it's got Stairway to Heaven on it. That's what makes this album ranked so high. Just that alone makes it rank so high, you know, in people's rankings, Rolling Stone, whoever. But it also has great songs like Black Dog and Rock and Roll, When the Levee Breaks, stuff like that. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, like, this album is really good to listen to when it's raining outside. Does anybody else feel that way? Anytime it's raining, this feels like something to listen to, and it works. I don't know. It puts you in a certain mood, you know what I mean? When you're in a certain atmosphere, such as rain. I don't know. But, yeah, Led Zeppelin 4 is just amazing. I love it. Easy to listen to. You know, none of these albums feel like a task to listen to. They're just fantastic. So now, number 4. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. Iconic cover art. And yeah, we got so many good hits on here. We got Good Morning, Good Morning. We got When I'm 64, A Day in the Life, Sgt. Pepper's, you know, the same name as the album. To start off the album, you got With a Little Help from My Friends, where Ringo gets some time to shine, who I think is underrated, to be honest. You got Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, Getting Better, Fixing a Hole. Yeah. And it's just, and Within You, Without You, which I think is a very underrated song. George Harrison, who's my favorite Beatle, of course, I'm going to think that's underrated, because that's his track. Yeah, Sgt. Pepper is just fantastic. It's got a good structure, too. By that, I mean, when one song ends, another song comes on, and it feels appropriate. It feels like, you know what I mean? Like, you'll be listening to a song on here, and you'll feel like, oh, that's a good follow-up to what I just heard. Everything just flows well in this album. My number 3 spot, though, would be Abbey Road. Now, I only rank Abbey Road better than Sgt. Pepper, even though Sgt. Pepper's got a better structure than Abbey Road. Just because Abbey Road's got better tracks, if you ask me. First of all, Here Comes the Sun, which is the most famous Beatles song probably ever. I mean, come on. And you got Come Together to kick it off. You got Something, which is my all-time favorite Beatles track. You can tell I'm a George Harrison fan. Maxwell Silverhammer. You got Oh Darling. Octopus's Garden. Again, Ringo gets the shine. I think that track's underrated. Octopus's Garden. I Want You. She's So Heavy. You know, John Lennon screaming his lungs out. Yeah, Because... And you got the amazing medley at the end, which is just, I love listening to that medley. It's awesome. Yeah. Oh, She's Leaving Home. I just remembered that. That's a very underrated track also. I was thinking of, what's underrated about the Beatles? Nothing really. Just kidding. There's a lot of underrated stuff about the Beatles. But yeah, and this is by far the most iconic album cover of all time. I would love to visit Abbey Road one day, you know. But yeah, Abbey Road is just classic, iconic. It's a fantastic album. So that'd be my number 3. Now, number 2 would be Houses of the Holy by Led Zeppelin. Now, it's a true shame that Physical Graffiti, which is a great album. Whoops, kind of dropped something. It has the track Houses of the Holy. The reason why it has that track is because when they're making Houses of the Holy, I guess they didn't have time to fit the track in or something. They didn't have time to make it, but they put it on this album. Now, if Houses of the Holy was on this album, you know what? I don't know. I might have ranked this number one. That'd be tough though, because obviously that is number one because I haven't talked about it yet. But this album is just fantastic to me. It's such an easy listen. It's got great tracks. It's got Song Remains the Same to start it off. You got No Quarter, Did You Make Her, which is really interesting, different, genre kind of for Zeppelin, kind of reggae type song. You got Dancing Days, which I think is underrated. You got Over the Hills and Far Away, which I think is one of the best Zeppelin tracks ever. Yeah, and it's just really just an amazing experience. Like, I love this album. It's such an easy listen, like I said. Yeah, I really don't have words for it. It's just so good. You know what I mean? When something's so good, you're kind of like at a loss for words for it. You know what I mean? So, to talk about loss for words, let's see if I can, explain why this is my number one. I don't know if you're surprised that I picked this out of the 5 to be my number one. But, I will say this has been my number one album for a very, very long time. Because the first time I heard it, I don't know how to explain it. It just left a huge impact on me. And I need to mention, too, my favorite song of all time is on this album, and that's Dreams. And to explain why Dreams is my favorite song of all time, I couldn't. I'd have to talk to you personally for 2 hours or something to explain it. But anyways, this album is just amazing. Fleetwood Mac makes music that is so soothing and so relaxing and so positive and so full of love and life, and I don't know. I just love Fleetwood so much, and I'm so happy that I got to see them in concert last year. In Miami, and yeah, I actually met 2 people at that concert that saw Led Zeppelin, by the way, and their one night only show they had in 2007, which was crazy. They were actually sitting next to me too, and I don't know how we started talking. We just started talking about music or something, and they mentioned how they saw Led Zeppelin. I was like, whoa, back in the day. So, oh no, during the 2007 show. But I did get to see Fleetwood, which is amazing. I'm so happy that they still, go on tour and stuff. I don't know if they're going to go on tour again. But, I saw the 5, Christine McVie, John McVie, Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, and Mick Fleetwood, the 5 key members. Because I know a lot of members came and went from Fleetwood. But this album is just, every track on here is just, there's nothing wrong with it. This literally gets 100% for me. There's nothing wrong with any song on here. You got Secondhand News to start it off. You got Dreams, of course. Then later on, you got songs like Songbird. You got Never Going Back Again, Silver Springs. You Make Loving Fun, which just always brings a smile to my face. That is one of the most positive songs I've ever heard in my life. It's just amazing. Their lyrics are just fantastic. Stevie Nicks' voice, all of them have good voices, but hers especially, it's just, I don't know, they're just a great group. I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, this is just, I'm kind of at a loss for words how to explain why this is my favorite. You have other tracks in there like Oh Daddy and Go Your Own Way, which is probably their most iconic song. Don't Stop, The Chain. But yeah, this album is just, it gets 100% from me, and usually nothing gets 100% from me, but this does. So yeah, does anyone agree with this? Is anyone a fan of these albums? I'm sure that's not a question. Of course people are a fan of these albums, but to those of you watching, if you agree with me on any of these, if you think I should have mentioned something, let me know. And yeah, that was my top 5 favorite albums of all time. Stay tuned, I think I'm going to be doing my top 5 favorite movies of all time next, so yeah. Thank you for watching.